What's good, everybody? It's John. Come back at you another video. So this video is actually going to be a very interesting and mind-blowing concept for a lot of you guys because this will likely change your perspective on how you view adversity, right? Because the title of the video is this: adversity exists in life so that you can experience your true self. Now, I know that sounds a little strange, right? How the title of the video sounds, but I promise you it is going to make sense, right? The purpose of adversity, the purpose of obstacles is so that you can experience who you actually are. So you can learn about yourself so that you can grow, become the best version of yourself, right? This is why adversity and obstacles that you face are, in fact, good things because then you can truly see what you're made of and who you've been this entire time, right? If I were to use an example, and I have a few examples to showcase this, right? If I use an example with sports, we know that in the professional leagues from any sports league around the world, these are the best players in the world, right? And in sports, right, these players compete so that at the end of the year, one team is crowned champion. If sports was, inclusive in the sense that like everyone is going to win, right? Like the reason why champions are celebrated in sports is because at the end of the year, only one team is crowned champion, right? This is the team that's overcome all obstacles, all adversity in order to be crowned champion and to win, right? If instead of this process, the league asked every player if they wanted to be champion, and if every player raised their hand, right? And if that same league gave every player championship trophies and championship rings, then being champion wouldn't hold any weight, right? If everyone was able to be a champion whenever they felt like it all the time, right? Every year you basically get a championship ring essentially for just participating in the league, then being champion wouldn't hold any weight, right? Like it wouldn't really be a reason to celebrate because that would be the norm. That's all these athletes would know, right? It's the fact that you have to compete against the other players in the world, the other best players in the world, and beat them to become champion. That is what makes you, actually become champion and be celebrated as champion. That's why the fans, when their team wins, the fans celebrate because their team was the last team standing at the end of the year, right? They were able to overcome whatever obstacles they dealt with internally, right? Whether it's arguments, whether it's injuries, whether it's, whatever adversity. And they overcame the obstacles of competing against other teams who were exceptional competitors or exceptional competition. That adversity, those obstacles, right? That competition that existed, because you were able to, compete and win, you were able to learn about yourself, right? So if you're a player and you believe that you're a great player, one way to, see that for yourself and for other people to see your greatness is by, in sports, right, is by competing against and beating other great players, because then you can make a name for yourself because you were beating the best of the best. These are the best players in the world and you're beating them, right? So this is what it all means, right? These obstacles, this adversity is in fact a good thing because you get to learn about who you are and who you've been and what you're made of. We remember the all-time great athletes because of, of course, how many times they were able to win, but also who they played against as far as competition in order to get there. And so these athletes, right, they were able to showcase their own greatness because they were able to line it up against someone else who's also one of the best in the world, right? So that is just one example of it, right? The second example that I can provide is when it comes to financial hardship. I know this is an obstacle or adversity for a lot of people out there, right? With finances. If you, at a snap of a finger, right, every time I snap, let's just say every time I snap my finger, I can pretty much instantly create or spawn $100 billion right in front of me. If I can do that every time I snap my finger and create $100 billion, like how can I ever experience wealth, right? I won't be able to experience it because that's all I know. Because at any moment, if I ever want more money, I can just snap my finger, right? So, and with obviously having that much money, right, you can obviously buy any home, buy any car, travel wherever it is that you want, eat wherever it is that you want, right? Like you can do almost anything you want, right? With having all the finance, right? Like you wouldn't be able to truly experience your wealth because that is all you know, right? You can snap your finger and spawn however much money you want. You would never struggle. You would never let yourself struggle because you would just snap your finger, right? Like that would be silly to struggle, right? But that ends up becoming all that you know. So you can't truly experience what it's like to have wealth unless you experience the opposite of it, right? There's a reason, if we go back to athletes, right? There's a reason why for a lot of athletes winning a championship feels so good because they know what it's like to lose, right? There's never been an athlete who's played for 20 years and has won all 20 years that they've been in the league, right? That doesn't happen, right? Athletes who play a long career, which is like 10 plus years, oftentimes the majority of those years that they're playing, they end up losing. They don't walk away with the championship at the end of the year. So most years they lose. So because of that, when you do win, it feels that much better. If you win, if you were guaranteed to win each and every year, right? There's no resistance. Are you really going to celebrate those wins? Right? You wouldn't celebrate as much as being in a position where you're losing year in, year out, and then finally you have your breakthrough and win, right? When you finally win, you're going to cry, you're going to be excited, you're going to celebrate because it actually means something to you. The same idea with wealth, right? If all you know is wealth, if that's all you've known, if all you've known is abundance, if all you've known is having hundreds of billions of dollars, right? How can you truly ever experience your wealth? You won't actually really know what it is because you never got to experience anything other than that, right? So that's why being here put on this earth, right? Being born as a baby, you're starting off as a clean slate. You get to experience not having anything, right? As a kid, chances are you're not dealing with finance, right? Like that's usually reserved for your parents and things like that, right? You can experience what it's like not having anything and needing to depend on your parents for allowance, for money, for all these things. So then when the time comes for you to eventually have wealth and abundance for yourself, you will know what this now feels like. You will now be able to experience it because you've experienced the opposite. You've experienced the opposite end of the spectrum, right? It becomes a lot easier for you to be grateful and appreciate all the things you have in your life if you've experienced not having it, right? Like I've experienced moments in my life, for example, where it's like there wasn't any hot water in my home, or like if I was in college, whatever, and it was just turn on the faucet and it's just cold water, right? It becomes a lot easier for me to appreciate having warm and hot water when there's moments where you don't have it, or appreciate having water to begin with, whether hot or cold, just being able to see water run, because I've experienced moments where I didn't have access to water. I would turn the faucet and nothing would come out, right? I've experienced that before. So I can appreciate and also experience what it's like, having water, because I know what it's like to not have water and how much of an inconvenience it is to not have water, right? So you need to remember that adversities in life and obstacles that unfold in your life are in fact good, because a lot of times this is providing you with contrast. It is providing you with some resistance. And with that, being able to experience the opposite, right? You can now learn about yourself and understand yourself and see who you really are this entire time, right? Because some of us want to be great. We're asking to be great. We're asking, we want to be great at something. We want to be the best at something. We want to tap into the greatness that's within us. Well, how do you expect to tap into the greatness that's within you if you've never face any adversity or if you never experienced anything, right? If life is always super easy and perfect and smooth sailing and everything, right? Like if everything is always perfect and you never have to lift a finger for anything, how do you get to, like, you won't ever get to experience your greatness. You won't ever get to experience what you're made of if the red carpet has been rolled out for you every single time for your entire life, right? You can never truly see what you're made of, right? For a lot of people, they need to face adversity or hit rock bottom for them to figure out who they are. Because for some people, when they hit rock bottom, that's when they realize, like, well, I have nothing else to lose, so I'm gonna just go after it. And then that's when they develop a burning desire or that hunger that was always there but never tapped into, right? Same idea. Some of us want to be confident, and we say it all the time that we want to be confident. We want to be confident. Well, you can develop your confidence by putting yourself in a position to be rejected, because if you're getting rejected, for a lot of people, that affects their confidence. For a lot of people, that can break their confidence. If you're perfectly content with putting yourself out there and not caring about other people's opinions or what other people have to say, and putting yourself out there in a spot where you can face rejection, and if you are rejected and you're unfazed by it, then that shows you to yourself and also to the world that you have confidence in yourself, right? If you had to go out and accomplish something, right, something big, something grand, right, you need to have belief in yourself to do that, right? If you could have anything by a snap of a finger, then it's like you don't need to have belief in yourself, because you can snap your finger and get whatever it is that you want, right? But there's certain things in life that you might have to work for. And so sometimes there might not be an obvious route or an obvious solution or answer to get to where it is that you're going. So in those cases, right, you likely might just need belief, or that might be all you might have right now, to just believe in yourself. And as you believe in yourself, you begin working towards what it is that you want. And then when you reach your goal, your destination, that's when you're happy. And then you can see what you were this entire time, that it was your belief that propelled you forward, that it was your belief, your persistence, your dedication. Is the same with going to the gym too, right? It's like going to the gym. In order to see results in the gym, you have to persist, right? And the reason why we're going to the gym is, for a lot of people, is to lose weight or to improve their body or to live a healthy lifestyle, right? And they will see transformation. But the transformation only happens if you show up each and every day, if you're dedicated and you persist, right? So if you're going to the gym each and every day, then it shows that you have dedication, and that you are able and capable of persisting, and you believe in yourself that things are going to work out, that things are going to unfold, right? So you're seeing how these obstacles, right? The obstacle could be that you're overweight, or the obstacle could be that you're skinny and you want to put on muscle mass, right? That is just the adversity or the obstacle that you're facing, right? But that's not the end all be all, right? That is just there, put in front of you, so that you have something to overcome. And then when you overcome that obstacle, whatever it is that's in your way, then you can see your true colors and who you've been this entire time. But if you never go through anything in life, how do you expect to ever learn about yourself or understand yourself, right? If everything, like I mentioned before, was snap of a finger, right? Like, our true self, we're spirits, right? This body that we have, this is a physical body that we're temporarily renting and using for our lifetime. But our true essence is spirit. So our spirits are perfect, and we come from a spiritual world where we have access to it all. That snap of a finger, we can have anything, that there's no lack, right? There's infinite abundance. Whatever it is that you want, you can have, right? That's the dimension that we come from. That's our true essence. There's no way for us to experience our true abundance if we can have anything at a snap of a finger at all times, right? Because then you've never experienced lack. So if you've never experienced the opposite, how can you truly appreciate and know what it is that you have if you never experienced anything other than what you have, right? It just becomes a knowing, right? You can't experience it. It's just a knowing, because that's all that exists. So us being put here on this earth, being born without anything, basically being born from a clean slate, starting brand new, we can now experience our spiritual gifts, our spiritual abundance, and our wealth that's within us because we began from nothing. We were able to experience the opposite from the very beginning. So that now, when we get to the point where we're experiencing wealth in all areas of our life, we can accept it, we can appreciate it, and be grateful for it because we know what it's like to not have that because we started from nothing. That's what makes this life amazing. That's what makes this life experience so much fun and a thrill, that you get to experience the entire spectrum. You get to experience the things that you want and abundance and all the great things, and then you get to experience contrast, which for a lot of people they see it as bad, but that's still a good thing because you develop your preferences. But then even with adversity, even with experiencing the obstacles, you can still overcome that. And having obstacles will allow you to appreciate what is that you have. And then when you overcome the obstacles, you can now learn about yourself. How do you ever expect to be great or believe that you're great if you don't ever have to do anything or overcome anything or accomplish anything? Like, you won't have anything to compare it to, right? Having the obstacles is a good thing because there were probably moments where you doubted yourself and didn't think you were capable or deserving or good enough, right? You didn't think you were worthy, and then somehow, some way, you overcame that obstacle, and then you were able to, in fact, accomplish your goal or accomplish your dream and live life beyond your wildest imagination. And like, then you'll be happy and confident with yourself, and can truly appreciate your greatness. It's like, wow, I can do it all. I can accomplish anything. Well, for you to feel as though you can accomplish anything, there has to be something for you to accomplish. There has to be some task, some obstacle in the way for you to hurdle over to then get to that new point, right? So, more title of this video, right, is that adversity exists in life so that you can experience your true self, and that is in fact true, right? If once again, right, if you love macaroni and cheese, that's your favorite meal, you love it because it's a treat to yourself, right? You probably eat it, a couple times a year, or couple times, like on only on the weekends or something, right? If you ate mac and cheese every single meal for every single day for the rest of your life, after a couple weeks, probably after a week or a couple days, you'll probably be tired of eating mac and cheese. But you love mac and cheese because it's a treat, because you don't eat it that often, right? And when you do eat it, you can savor every bite. If every single meal that you eat is always macaroni and cheese, you're not going to be savoring every bite because everything is going to be the same, right? It becomes annoying because you know that you're going to eat mac and cheese and all you've ate is mac and cheese. So you're not looking forward to the mac and cheese anymore because that's all you know, right? You can't experience the deliciousness of the mac and cheese if that's all you eat. But because you eat different foods, right? Because sometimes you might eat a bowl of cereal, or you might eat, whatever, like a sandwich or whatever, and it might not be a very good sandwich because let's say you don't make good sandwiches at home. But then you are looking forward to this gourmet mac and cheese made from this Michelin star chef, right? That you're gonna enjoy the mac and cheese because you've experienced such a contrast between the food you've been eating and the delicious mac and cheese, right? Like, you've eaten so many different foods and you haven't had the mac and cheese in weeks or months. So then when you have the mac and cheese, you look forward to it because you haven't had it in a long time. So you get to experience and savor and enjoy every bite, right? It's the same idea with everything with life. I understand a lot of people out there are praying and begging that they don't ever have to, go through a hard life or ever deal with problems or adversity or all these things. But you need to understand that that gives you character. It helps develop your character and allows you to learn about yourself. And it benefits you. It benefits you because you get to experience the opposite end of the spectrum. So then, because you've experienced the opposite end of the spectrum, now you can tap into the perfection that exists within you and bring out the best version of yourself. So then, overcoming the obstacles right now, you can see who you've been this entire time. So it's all actually working in your favor. So that's why adversity and the obstacles and everything you face is a blessing, because all it is that it's teaching you who you are. It's showing you to yourself and showing yourself to the world, right? All of the great successful people in life all have a similar story of facing some sort of hardship, right? Usually at a young age, or this obstacle appearing, or this problem happening, and they were able to somehow, some way find a way to still succeed and still win, right? These are the stories that we love to hear. But these are the stories that make them, and that's a story that will also make you, right? So appreciate the adversity, appreciate the obstacles, right? No need to like run away or shy away from it, when the point of these obstacles, the point of this is so that you can bring out the best version of yourself. You can tap into part of you that you may not even have known existed or was there, to help bring that to the surface, so that you can not only bring out the best version of you for yourself, but you can also showcase that to the world. And as you showcase that to the world, you give other people permission to tap into that as well. So adversity in life is a good thing, because adversity in life, all it does is that it showcases your true self to you, and it allows you to experience, in those moments of hardship, it allows you to experience the best qualities of yourself. Because without the obstacles, right, you wouldn't even know that exists, because it's all you've known, it's all you've ever been accustomed to. But you need to experience the opposite, so that you need to go through the opposite, so that you can experience and appreciate and be grateful for the good qualities and the great things that you have within you. So I rest up the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe, as we're on the road to 1,000,000 subscriber, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.